Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and we are about to do a reading for the energies of the week ahead. The week of July 24th, 25th, through to the end of the month. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information that most needs to come through right now, and to provide that in a manner that will be clear and in language that will be easy and effortless to hear, understand, and integrate for the highest and greatest benefit of anyone who is listening to this recording now and in the future. I invite my higher self and the higher selves of all those who will be listening to this call to be here to facilitate this exchange and ensure that it happens in the highest and best manner possible for the highest and greatest good of all concerned and all whose life they touch, and of this beautiful planet that we call home. I invite an overlighting angel of communication to facilitate this exchange as well, and ensure that I'm using language that is effortlessly heard, understood, and integrated for the greatest good, the highest and greatest benefit of everyone listening on this call, now and in the future. I'd also like to invite the four archangels to come and hold the four directions around myself and anyone else who's listening to this in time and space. I invite Raphael to hold the east, Michael to hold the south, Gabriel to hold the west, and Uriel to hold the north. Thank you for being here now with us. I'm grateful for this container of light, of love, of wisdom, of healing, of clarity, of purity, of inspiration, of all that is in our collective heart and mind at this time. Anything that doesn't match these high frequencies is welcome to go now. So we are setting the intention to have clarity about the energies of this week. What do we need to know about the week ahead? How do we need to be about it? For our highest and greatest collective good, that of ourselves, our families, our communities, this beautiful planet, and all the other creatures who coexist here with us. Past, present, future, foundation, how we need to conduct ourselves, how others are going to be, and the outcome. This is an abridged version of a Celtic cross spread. Okay. So, starting recent past, influences waning, continues into the present, into the future. Incoming messages on the level of the mind and action. So it's sort of this new beginning messages, fresh starts, seed kernel ideas. This idea of something small that will grow, that will gain momentum. And again, swords is about ideas and inspiration. So ideas and action. This is the realm of air. So these are new beginnings in our thoughts, new beginnings in how we're doing things in our life. New fresh starts, and it's very much it's almost so small we don't even realize we're doing it. That's the sense that I'm getting. It's a very, very subtle, very small, but there is a change. There is a new thing happening. Some of us are a lot more intentional about this than others. Some of us are very much more living in this space of making a decision and then moving forward with it. But collectively, the sense is that we are making movements, small changes, incremental changes, and we're moving in a new way. We're taking new action, and we are changing how we're thinking. We're changing how we're seeing things. We're changing how we're perceiving the world. This is sitting in our recent past. As I said, the influence is waning, continues into the present, into the future, continues to influence us. The present energy is illusion. So this is an interesting one in the sense that it's really, really calling us not to get caught up in our feelings. You know, it's okay to have our feelings. We all have them. But not to get caught up in the judgment or in the making wrong or in just the intensity of feeling. Taking a step away from the intensity of the feeling and and giving ourselves space, because when we're caught up in the intensity of the moment, we are not at our wisest or our most discerning about what is actually true or what is actually up in our experience. So this card of illusion is reminding us just to take deep breaths whenever we feel ourselves stirred up and feeling intensely, so that we can take a step back from our emotions, which, though they are part of our experience, are not who we are, and have clarity around our current experience, have clarity around what is going on around us that's triggering our emotions, so we can be um, softer and wiser as we respond to whatever it is that's triggering us. You know, there's a lot, speaking collectively, there is a lot going on, of course, continues to go on. And our media is not very good at soothing us. It's not very good at allaying our fears. If anything, it stokes them. And that could be, that's what the energy of this card, it's very much about that kind of quality, about, you know, there's a lot out there that can light us up and can make us less responsive from that wiser, broader perspective. So this card in our present reminds us that as we move forward and we are feeling overwhelmed and overcome by all of the different emotions of the pain, the suffering, the fear, the anguish, the anxiety, all of the things that we're witnessing through our media, etc., to just take a few deep breaths, come back to your center, and just breathe for a moment, recognizing that you are safe in this moment and you have a broader, wiser perspective on everything that it happens and comes into your field. And it's great to be in that place when you look out at life, because then you're in a better, more empowered and resilient perspective. So this is the energy of the present. Reminder to stay in our conscious, intentional place with regards to emotional upset. The near future, strength. It's a major arcana. It has to do with our collective growth. Strength is a wonderful card. You see the woman has the infinity symbol over her head, which means she's in a state of alignment with the universe, with her higher power, her higher self, with grace, creation, whatever you want to call it, the universe. And as a result of her higher conscious intentional activation, she is again she's coming at life from that broader, deeply grounded, loving, kind, receptive, and supportive perspective. And the story of this card is a lion had a thorn in its paw and was upset. And she, because of her alignment, was able to make friends with the lion and take the thorn out of its paw and make friends with this beast, this lower, and in some interpretations, this is the lower aspect of our animal nature. This is our higher self overcoming and through love, through gentle kindness, through gentle strength, not through domination and control, but through kindness and gentleness and wisdom, overcoming our animal nature, our lower nature. So this is the card sitting in our near future, and these qualities definitely speak to, you know, the when we're caught up in our emotional state, when we're in that place, that's more of our lower, more animal nature, that feeling of overwhelm through our emotions. And you know, that's cool. We're human beings. We are part animal, but we also have this higher, wiser connection to all that is. We are infinitely connected to everything on this planet at this time and beyond. And so when we can tap into that broader, wiser perspective, everything is reframed. We have a much more resilient outlook at life because we understand the vastness of it all and the connections between it all. What this card is telling us is that in the near future, we're moving into a place where we need to be in this state more. We need the strength and the wisdom and the discernment and the power and the kindness and the resilience that comes from being in this higher, wiser, kinder state. And for us to have dominion over our lower, more animal nature. So we're not reacting. We're responding. We're not reacting, we're responding. We are not turning around and claiming an eye for an eye or tit for tat, that we are coming at life from that wiser place. And it will serve us really, really well. We're being called to this. This is the evolution of us as a species, as humanity, is to be more in this broader, more conscious perspective rather than in our lower, more animal state. So this is our collective near future, what we're moving towards. The foundation of the reading, why we're having this reading. Oh, our force card. It comes up again and again. This card, the Ace of Swords. This is about pruning your life, pruning your attitudes, pruning your beliefs, pruning your outlook in the world, and collectively, this is about pruning our collective experience, our institutions, these structures, these beliefs that we've been holding or that have held us in many ways. This is the collective pruning that we're going through right now. This is a time of clarifying our values, clarifying what's important, clarifying the things that we want, the directions that we want to head in, and then pruning and removing and eliminating those parts of us, those parts of our collective experience that are not serving that vision that we're holding for our future, for what we're wanting. So this is our collective foundation card. Is this card of force? Again, this is not a force of just swinging a sword mightily and wildly and with the intention of dominating. This is the force of will, of intention, of directing life force through the attention, through will, through what is wanted. And as a result of that clarity, clearly releasing and removing those aspects of our life that no longer serve. Again, personally, collectively, this is it. This is it. I mean, let's face it, folks, it's where we are. And this bus that we're on is not stopping. I think this is the thing that we all need to pause and really grasp, is that things are not going back to how they were. That there will be elements of that, because that's part of the things that we value and the things that we will carry forward. Those will be pulled forward into our collective experience. But collectively, there are many, many things that are not serving the highest and greatest good. And those are the things that are being seen and distinguished. And as a result of that, those distinctions and that wisdom that comes with seeing it, we're recognizing that those things have to change. And so collectively, our will is to change those things that must be changed, as they no longer serve, as they do not serve our greater good, both for us as individuals, for us collectively, and for the greater good of this planet and all the other residents that we are here with. So this is a very powerful card. And so remembering that we have tremendous power in our own experience and collectively in our field as a people, as a species on this planet. There's a lot of work to be done, but we're up for it. We have the resources, we have the tools. And a good thing to remember is there are amazing people who are already holding all of the solutions that we're seeking to solve the issues that we're facing. It's just the platforms that are out there are not really giving anybody else a voice, or the mainstream platforms are not giving enough voice. Doesn't quite serve the old power agenda, which is deteriorating. Take heart, folks. It is on its way. But it has to go through its process and the deconstruction. And there's a lot of people who are very much attached to those old paradigms, who are very much entrenched in those ways of seeing life, of those beliefs, those structures. They're deeply indoctrinated in our collective culture. And so for a lot of people who are deeply entrapped in these, it's going to take a bit of time for them to get loose and for them to be able to shift. But it's all good. It's all good. So this contrast, the contrast that we continue to witness, that we're continuing to walk through, some of us are experiencing it more deeply than others. This contrast is part of our waking up process. and is absolutely perfect. It's enabling us to have new eyes, to understand how interconnected we all are, to understand the power that we hold, to understand how we can come together and create the magnificent world and life that we all long for. Okay, next card is how we need to conduct ourselves. Courage. I think we had this one last week. So this is about standing in your space, holding your truth, and just having the wherewithal, the convictions, the courage. And this isn't about shouting somebody else down or trying to bring them to your perspective. It's simply about you holding what you know to be true in your heart and standing in that wisdom, standing in that knowledge. You know, despite what's going on around you, the adversity, you see these wands coming at. This isn't about, again, this isn't about trying to convince anybody else that your perspective is the right one. This is about knowing what's right and true for you and holding that place in your heart. But this is a deep inner knowing. This isn't a mental knowing. This is a knowing in your heart mind, your broader perspectives knowing of what is appropriate, what is true, and what is good for you and where you need to be. So this is how we need to be, each of us individually, as we go forward this week, is to find our truth, to find our center, to find our power, and to just stand there. It's and again, I come back to this idea, this isn't about trying to convince anybody else that we found the way, because we can't do that. Everyone has their own path through this life. But when we have the courage to stand in our own truth and in our own path and follow it, it really is deeply liberating for everyone around us, because they have then permission to do the same thing for themselves. And this is huge collectively, this gift of standing in our truth, standing in our power, and allowing others to find theirs and stand in theirs. Okay, that's how we need to be. How others are going to be. Excuse me. So we have the Four of Swords, the card of seclusion. So this is we may not be feeling terribly connected to each other at this time, or how we can see others are going to be, is this card of seclusion, this sort of pulling away on the realm of the mind and in action, sort of putting oneself apart to just take some time. That's what this card is about. This is about taking some time to clarify, taking some time to get grounded, to make space for new ways of looking, or for being wiser. Instead of being caught up in the doing, this is about being. This is about being in an intentional space. This is about being, pulling away a little bit and taking time to reflect. Of course, swords are about the mind because it's the suit of air. And so this is a seclusion that involves the mind. You know, the mind is a tool. The mind is a resource for us to call upon. And so leveraging that is perfect. And leveraging that by clearing some space to allow our minds to be enlightened by our higher, wiser, broader consciousness is super helpful, because then we come back with our perspective clear, and we're able to be wiser and clearer in our discernments, in our experience around us. Cleans up our vision. So this is a 4, so it's a very grounded card. This is what we can expect from others. This sort of pulling away, spending time cleaning up our reflection, our capacity to observe and to see clearly. So this is what we can see, what we can expect from others, is sort of this sort of pulling away. And there's no need, and it's not a dramatic thing, but it is sort of like a pulling inward. And it's not to be, just recognizing that this is what's going on. And so if you find that people are doing this around you, not to take it personally, because it's something that we are each being called to do, so that, again, we can walk forward confidently, clearly, in a wiser manner, with more powerful discernment and distinctions, so that we can greet the life and the world that we're facing and be wiser and see more clearly. There's a lot of noise to cut through. And so being empowered in our state, our capacity to pull away and to clean up our vision is really helpful at this time, so we can come back and cut through the noise, right? So that's how we can expect others to be. And then the outcome, Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is the female, the element of maturation of the suit of Wands, which is all about creativity, inspiration, and passion. This is the suit of fire. This is, it can be a person, and it can be aspects of that, qualities that we embody or somebody else embodies. And so because it's a female face that we see here, these are the feminine aspects of the power of the suit of Wands, the very generative, creative, inspired, passionate, but also very intuitive and very relational and collaborative energy. This is the outcome. This is what we're moving towards this week, is this energy of co-creating, of collaborating, of coming together willingly, with open hearts and a willingness to collaborate with others creatively, to vision solutions, to vision our lives, to vision possibilities, to indulge in creative exploration, even if that, and not just even, but whatever that means for you, be it painting or music or dance or movement or a business venture or so that would be on the individual level, and collectively this permission to play creatively, to play and explore creative possibilities, to expand ourselves into having fun and letting our inner fires of creativity inspire us individually and collectively. But this is a broader perspective, right? This is a creative, generative energy that is expanding our possibility space, that is expanding our capacity to be better generators on this planet, better co-creators, better collaborators. But it's a broad energy. This is very wide. Anyone who is a creative person I know will tap into this energy of the broadness of this. It's a broadness of mind, a broadness of heart, a broadness of capacity to explore, of willingness to go there, and following the inner urgings, the inner promptings of our hearts and our creative inspiration and imagination. So this is the outcome. This is what we're working towards. This is what we're moving towards. And so this week, it's we have all of this and the outcome, this sort of creative, generative qualities. I think sometimes we forget, because we get, pretty seduced by the illusion of our three-dimensional existence, this idea that we're separate, that we all have our little clumps of bodies that we move around in, and that nothing that I do can impact anything else. But it's actually totally incorrect. We are all connected. We have the illusion of separate form, but really we are all one vast spirit having individual experiences. When we remember this and tap into this, we understand that when we get to a place of peace, of creativity, of inspiration, of passion, of remembering that we are not our emotions, of coming down and grounding, and clearing out our lives of the unnecessary bits, and keeping it lean, and pulling in this wiser, broader perspective, this kinder, more resilient and loving perspective. When we understand that this is us individually, and as we pull it into our three-dimensional clump of cells and have more of this experience in our field, we're helping everybody else that we're connected with, which is all of life. So we really have a responsibility as individuals to be the best version of ourselves that we can be, and that doesn't mean necessarily an external result. It can, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. It does mean calling upon our higher, wiser gifts, calling upon that aspect of us that is broader, and living more from that place and having more of that in our field of experience every day and every moment to the best of our abilities. And of course, we're going to forget. Of course, that's okay. That's okay. And being kind with ourselves when we forget, and realizing that every moment is a renewed opportunity to recommit to being that broader, wiser person in our field, in our bodies, right here, right now. And when we can do that, it helps others to do the same thing. We're all connected and it's all perfect, and we're moving through this beautifully, even if it does seem like we're not making any big advancements. Remember, the media is an illusion. The story that they're giving you, what you're being fed, is the interpretation of reality by a limited group of people. And your experience in the here and now in your physical field is a different thing than what's being told at you from those media sources. I'm just going to encourage you to get into your field here and now, to get into your body, your now, and look at your life from inside your field, and look at the good people who are in your world. Look at the good experiences that you're having. Look at all the wonderful solutions that are coming forward. Look for them, because when you give yourself permission to do that, that's what life brings towards you. It's a whole dance. It's a whole dance. We're dancing with life. We're co-creating with life. We are not the passive participants in life. We are here to engage and collaborate with life and enjoy life and celebrate life. So, movement, small movement forward, recent past, this is where we are. Small beginnings in the mind, in action, small beginnings. We are changing. We are moving forward. The present moment, illusion. Do not be overwhelmed by your emotions. Do not be overwhelmed by the story and the exterior being projected into your space. Take a few moments when you find yourself stirred up or triggered by something. Get grounded, breathe, and know that when you do that, you're coming and you look back at whatever it is you were looking at, you're in a more resilient space. This near future card is about calling on our broader, wiser selves and living with more of that in our field rather than our animal self dominating our experience. Not so much that knee-jerk reaction to things, but a kind, patient, loving, broad perspective guiding our everyday experience. Near future. Foundation of the reading, we continue to prune. We continue to determine what's important to us, and we continue to cut away the things that no longer serve us, both in things, both in attitudes, both in beliefs. On all levels, on all levels. This card of cleaning up, of pruning our existence, our collective tree of experience and our personal trees is the foundation of the reading. This is the energy of the week as we go ahead, is this pruning energy. How we need to conduct ourselves, to have courage, to stand in our place of knowing, of wisdom, of inner connection, of inner motivated wisdom, knowledge, and power that's higher and broader than we are individually. And just standing there and being there and allowing that to inspire us, allowing that to move us and to guide our choices and our decisions. Never from a place of trying to dominate another, always from the place of being the best that we can be in our experience right now. How others are going to be, this energy of seclusion, this sort of sense of pulling away to have greater clarity and discernment, needing to process, needing to clarify, even to analyze, but it's not just analysis from a third dimensional level, it's combining it with the broader, wiser perspective. So seeing very clearly through the veils that surround us at this time, the illusions. And the outcome is this creative, generative, collaborative thrust, this expansive exploration, creative play, creative opening. That's the momentum, that's the energy that we're moving towards this week. Okay, so that's this week. I'm going to just close up these cards and they feel pretty strong, but I always like to pull one to grow on because it's just sort of fun. So what is our card to grow on this week? A lot of energy and information in those cards. Maybe the one to grow on will be just a little bit too much. I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to do it anyway. What is our card to grow on this week? What do we need to know to thrive and be all that we can be this week? So the Princess of Pentacles. So again, princesses in my deck, they're princesses. They're pages in other decks. This is about new beginnings. Like we saw the Page of Swords in our reading. So it's like eggs, seeds, possibility spaces, babies, that kind of quality, that kind of energy. And Pentacles is all about the three-dimensional reality. This is about material things. It can be about money. It can be about stuff. It's very much about the earth element and all that is connected to the earth element, the practical, the three-dimensional, the whatever. And so this is a new beginning on the level of the material, a new beginning, a seed being planted, an acorn that could grow into an oak tree, that kind of an idea. So as this card to grow on this week is understanding that we are planting a seed that is going to impact us in our material experience. And this material impact can be, will serve us, and we need to foster it. We need to foster the growth, foster the direction that we want the growth to come in, the direction we want the growth to go in. And so we very much, this is a practical card. Earth element is very grounded and down to earth, so to speak. This is about really being practical and really thinking about the things that you love and the things that serve, those things that we value as individuals and collectively, because those are the things we want to pull into our collective future. Those good bits, we want to take them with us and enhance them. So just taking time to consider what is enriching us on the material level and pulling that into our future and our experience. So that's our little card to grow on this week, is understanding that we get to participate in building our collective future, collective well-being. We're growing it together. Little seeds being planted all over, and that's a really wonderful thing. And as a seed is planted, it needs water, it needs air, it needs light to grow. So continuing to be the gardener in our lives, the one who tends the growth. And think about what you like, think about what you love, think about the good parts that you want to have in your life. Dream. Give yourself permission to dream. We get so stuck in our little reality, but give yourself permission to pull away and dream a little bit. Doesn't sound very earthy, but it's part of it. You have to know what you want so you can make it manifest, and dreaming helps us to know what we want. Okay, my friends, I am wishing you a beautiful week. Lots and lots of love. Creator, thank you for the opportunity to be of service and to do this good work on your behalf. Love and light to each and everyone who has been on the call, who's listening in the future, wherever they may be. Help us collectively to stay centered in your grace, in your light, in your love. Clear heart and clear mind, clear bodies, so that we are always wisely looking out at the world and at the incoming messages and discerning wisely what is appropriate, what is true, what is worth giving our energy and attention to. There's so much that is not worth it. And so help us, guide us, so that we know what is of service to both us and to the collective future that we are collaboratively creating together. Stir our hearts with love and inspiration, creativity and passion, and guide us towards those things that let us up, that we may be of even greater service to this beautiful world that our hearts know is possible, that we are collectively generating and creating right now. Much love to everyone. Have a beautiful week, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.